Hello, my dear friend. Welcome to our reflection for the fifth Sunday of Easter, Year C. The theme of our reflection is the new commandment of Jesus Christ and its implications. First reading is from Acts of the Apostles, chapter 14, from verses 21 to 27. In those days, Paul and Barnabas returned to Lystra and to Iconium and to Antioch, strengthening the souls of the disciples, exhorting them to continue in the faith, and saying that through many tribulations we must enter the kingdom of God. When they had appointed elders for them in every church with prayer and fasting, they committed them to the Lord, in whom they believed. They passed through Pisidia, came to Pamphylia, and also went to Perga, and went down to Attalia, from there to Antioch. In all, when they arrived at Antioch, they gathered the church together and declared all that God had done with them, and how he had opened the door of faith to the Gentiles. The responsorial psalm is from Psalm 145, verses 8 to 13. Our response to the psalm is, I will bless your name forever, my King and my God. Second reading is from the book of Revelations, chapter 21, from verses 1 to 5. I, John, saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth has passed away, and the sea was no more. And I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice from the throne saying, Behold, the dwelling of God is with men. He will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself will be with them. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain any more, for the former things have passed away. And he who sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. Gospel reading is from John chapter 13, verses 31 to 35. When Judas had gone out from the upper room, Jesus said, Now is the Son of Man glorified, and in him God is glorified. If God is glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself, and glorify him at once. Little children, yet a little while I am with you. A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another even as I have loved you, and that you also love one another. By this all men will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. My dear friend, my dear brother, my dear sister, recall that the theme of our reflection is the new commandment of Jesus Christ and its implications. We are anchoring our reflection on the gospel passage, precisely where Jesus Christ said, A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another even as I have loved you, that you also love one another. John chapter 13, verse 4. Why did Jesus Christ call this commandment a new one? And what are the implications of this new commandment for all followers of Jesus Christ, all Christians in today's world? Let us look at the book of Leviticus in the Old Testament. In Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18, we read the Old Testament's command to love one's neighbor as oneself. Jesus calls his commandment new because it surpasses the Old Testament, the commandment to love one's neighbor as oneself. So Jesus Christ is saying, rather than loving your neighbor as yourself, love your neighbor as I have loved you. As I have loved you. As Jesus Christ has loved you, so you are to love your neighbor. There is no greater love a man can have for his friends than to lay down his life for his friends. And that's what Jesus did. He laid his life down for all of us. Are you willing to love as Jesus Christ has loved? That is the challenge, and that is the implication of the new commandment. The old commandment says, love your neighbor as yourself. Have you ever seen someone who does not really love himself? So if someone doesn't love himself, and he loves you the way he loves himself, will you like it? Do they appreciate that? Those who take dangerous substances into their bodies, do they love themselves? There are people who have something to eat. They have enough funds to spend for the good of others or for the good of their families, but they keep packing them. And people know that they have such only when they are no longer there. Do they really love themselves? So when they love you as they love themselves, imagine how your world will look like. So Jesus is really making a lot of sense. That you love your neighbor as he himself has loved you. He has given his life whole and entire and died for your sake and for my sake. No greater love. So whatever we do should be wholeheartedly for the good of our neighbors, not for selfish interests. In other words, the emphasis in the new commandment of Jesus Christ is selfless love, mutual love for one another, and sacrificial love. So we cannot love without making sacrifices. We must sacrifice our own interests and our desires for the benefit of others. Jesus rightly said, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. By doing this, that everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." Remember that in 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 4, St. Paul says, "Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, and it is not proud." And that is the type of love we are called to emulate. In our days in Bigger Memorial Seminary, Enugu, the then rector, Archbishop Valerian Okeke, now the Archbishop of Onisha Province, he has a saying, "The measure of love is to love without measure." In the New Testament, Jesus referenced the Old Testament. In other words, he referred to the Old Testament law of love, love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord, as in Leviticus chapter 19 verse 18. Jesus referenced this verse in Matthew chapter 22 verse 39, in Mark chapter 12 verse 31, and in Luke chapter 10 verse 27. Jesus was asked, in these places, Jesus was asked which of the 10 commandments of God is the greatest. And he answered, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and the greatest commandment. And the second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself." Today he says, "I'm giving you a new commandment. Do not just love your neighbor as yourself, love your neighbor as I have loved you. Love one another as I have loved you." Loving God with one's heart and loving one's neighbor, they are good, but Jesus wants us to step further, to go ahead, to love not just the way we feel like loving, but the way he himself has loved us. It's a big challenge. And if we practice it in today's world and show love as God has loved us, everyone will be happy. Earth will almost become the paradise. Now let us look into various types of love. It will help us. In one of my books, "How Shall the Young Remain Sinless?" I discuss various types of love and friendship in light of John Lee, an American educationist. Let us look at these various types of love as I discussed in that book. Number 1, Eros love. This kind of love has lustful desire and quest for sexual gratification as the motivating force. It is mainly a romantic and a sexual love. Mania love. In this form of love, the beloved requires the consistent company of the lover and a continuous reassurance of being loved. Any attempt by the lover to go beyond the reach of the beloved leads to unwarranted grief and pain. However, the grief comes not because of a reciprocated love for the lover, but for fear of losing what the beloved gets from the lover. 3. Ludus love. This is a self-centered love in which the beloved wants the lover to love him or her alone, and as a result becomes upset and disturbed on seeing the lover with another person. This is a bad form of love in which the lover runs the risk of becoming an enemy to everyone except the beloved. 4. Pragma love. In this form of love, one of the parties involved continues to examine the other to know whether he or she suits his or her taste. After this scrutiny comes the decisive moment, during which one makes up his or her mind either to put a final full stop to the love affair or to continue. 5. Staged love. This is a true form of love in which the lover is willing to suffer for the good and welfare of the beloved. The beloved in this case may be a friend, a close relation, one's community members, and even the whole human race. This form of love was evident when Mahatma Gandhi suffered insult, injury, and incarceration in South Africa in the bid to regain liberty for the Indian settlers, his brothers and sisters, who were at the mercy of the whites who ruled the land. Even Christ's suffering and death on the cross for the salvation of mankind is also a typical example of such love. Number 6, the agape love. This form of love is Christ-centered. It is true love in its entirety. So the new commandment of love that Jesus has given us is agape love. It falls under agape love. The new commandment of love that Jesus Christ has given us, to love one another as he has loved us, falls under agape love. In this form of love, the lover is always willing to forgive and continually repay evil with good on account of his or her love for the beloved. God's love for mankind is a clear manifestation of this true and highest form of love. In one of his books, John Ode wrote that Napoleon Bonaparte was known for his military prowess. When he had time to reflect on his military conquest, which suddenly became a thing of the past, he said, "Alexander, Caesar, Charlemagne, and I have built great empires. But upon what did they depend? They depended on force. But centuries ago, Jesus Christ started an empire that was built on love, and even to this day, millions will die for him." And St. Paul, writing to the Corinthians, clearly stated the characteristics of authentic love. He says, "Love is always patient and kind. Love is never jealous. Love is not boastful or conceited. It is never rude and never seeks its own advantage. It does not take offense or store up grievances. Love does not rejoice at the wrongdoing, but finds its joy in the truth. It is always ready to make allowances, to trust, to hope, and to endure whatever comes." My dear friends, the implication of the new commandment given to us by Jesus Christ is that we make these characteristics enumerated by St. Paul appear in our relationship, in our love for one another. Let us continue to ask God for the grace to love as he has loved us, to live as he expects us to live in love as brothers and sisters. And as we do so, may the Almighty God continue to bless all of us, bless you, this listener, and bring us into eternal inheritance in heaven at the end of our earthly sojourn. Thanks for taking pains to listen up to this moment. God bless you. God bless you. Share the message with others. Share the reflection with others. And if you wouldn't mind, you can subscribe to this channel for more reflections.